Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to the Monday Show 55. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, Monday is here, and what a Monday it is. People are losing their friggin' mind, man.
I know, it's crazy. Just in the chat, dude, I'm seeing a lot of people, a lot of discussion about one of the topics we're going to be bringing up here in a bit. But yeah, dude, it's been a crazy day and a half, 2 days, right? We just last time we talked, actually, we said there's a lot of stuff we didn't know. We know a lot of stuff in just one day, right?
Yeah, we said it yesterday, right? That, when we were talking about kind of how the next gen becoming more and more obvious and something else happens every day. And here we go, one day later, and the dam breaks loose in the leaks, the Facebook leaks. That obvious. Let me ask you, Roots. Do you think this is really a leak in the proper sense of the word?
No, because I was looking at that the video I was asking you. Hey, did you see this? And you're like, yeah, I saw a lot of videos because I was limited in what I saw. But the way they said, oh, this is a leaked video, but it was clearly like an advertisement, And usually you don't have a full. Hey, here's the actual full advertisement leaked. It's Facebook, man, and they're good at marketing, and they're starting to show us that they are, right? So.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's think about this for a minute. We first heard about this product 2 to 3 months ago, right? The first information that we got about it was from Bloomberg. Okay, so a couple of months pass by, and we get some information about the code name behind the product and the controllers. All of that information came from the Oculus developer channels, and then a few months later or a few weeks later, all of a sudden we have pictures. And as soon as people start dissecting the pictures and talking about how there's no IPD slider, we get more pictures. And then that brings us to today. Uh, you know, OC7 scheduled for this Wednesday. Sony's stealing the thunder by putting their PlayStation 5 event right on that same day. And what do we have but another leak straight from the Facebook channels? Once again, we have all of these different videos. I think there's like five of them, different official videos that obviously were made to be premiered on Wednesday. But these guys know what they're doing, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, dude. It seems like they almost have their ear to the grindstone, right? They really know what's going on, almost in Sony's head, right? As soon as Sony's
It's
getting ready to do something, Facebook does another thing. And I love to see it. I love to see like a back and forth, because it's only better for us consumers when you get that going on. So
Yeah, BaconBot says 90 or 120 hertz. So this is an interesting question because I think 90 hertz is kind of obvious at this point. But if we go back to the leaked information that we learned from Bloomberg, all of which I might add has come to be true at this point. But the Bloomberg article mentioned that there were both 90 hertz and 120 hertz modes being tested, but that the 120 hertz modes may end up being disabled uh, due to battery concerns. So it's a legitimate question, Bacon Bot, and I think that the answer is I think that the panel is going to be capable of 120, but we don't know. We don't know if they're going to actually let us have that.
what about when you're using your link? You know what I mean? Like I want 120, bro. Like I imagine it's got to be better, especially with when you got a beast of a card like you're going to be getting soon. You're not going to be worried so much about super sampling, or you're going to be able to do them both. And I want to run at a higher frame, and I've been running a lot of things that even just on a monitor, it makes a difference. I can only imagine it's got to make a difference when you're playing these games. I have not tried the index or anything, so I have no idea, but I would imagine it's going to make it a more smooth experience, right?
Yeah, yeah, I would think so. But let me ask you, Roots. As we mentioned, Sony scheduled their PlayStation 5 event during the keynote. Oculus Quest 7 day one keynote. Um, do we think that this was intentional? Do we think that this is Sony? I mean, there's three options here. Sony either didn't know that Facebook was doing their thing because they just don't keep up with it. Either that or they knew, but they put it on that day anyway because they don't really see Facebook as a threat. Or the third option is they absolutely see Facebook as a threat and did it intentionally to jab them and try to steal some of their thunder. Which do you think is the most likely scenario?
I think C, dude. Like, for one, I think the thought that they don't pay attention, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a guy like you that's all his job is, to just fucking pay attention. You pay attention to everybody else, and this is all, you know what I mean? It's kind of like convenience stores always checking the prices around the convenience stores around them. You know what I mean? That's your part of your job type of thing. And so I think that's out the window. And I think that Sony's just, they're, they absolutely see him as a competitor, because it's an all-in-one console, right? And
Yeah,
it competes against their VR system. So
I think that they're starting to see them as a competitor. I think even though Sony still, in terms of just sheer numbers, still kind of owns the VR market. I think that they've probably lost over the last year or so. I think that Facebook's probably outsold them, probably by a significant margin over the last year. So I think Sony kind of, in true Sony fashion, just wanted to kind of show Facebook that they're still the big swinging thing, if you know what I mean,
hmm.
and just show them how much they matter in the grand scheme of things. But I think you're right. I think that Sony does know that. Uh, I mean, none of these corporations get to be in the position that they're in without analyzing trends and forecasting. And I think that their forecasting tells them that if they want to compete in VR, they're going to pretty much have one competitor, and it's Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a big competitor. They got the money, and they could literally like just ban Sony's Facebook posts. And right? No.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. They know what we're looking at, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, that's our topic for the day. It already was our topic before any of this madness ensued. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about all the stuff that we're going to see this week. We're going to talk about the new headset. We're going to talk about maybe some other things we might see at OC7. We're going to talk about the graphics cards that are launching, and we're going to talk about the PlayStation 5 event. But first, we're going to do what we always do on the Monday show, and we're going to talk about what we've been playing. Looks like the chat is filling out nicely. Jim Hall is in the house. He says these companies are well aware of what each other are doing. I agree. They know what's up. Kenny66 is in the house. Onakazi, Jarillo, BaconBot, Meow Mix. Hussein X says that Facebook should have leaked everything through virtual strangers instead of Walking Cat. Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Anyway, the fam is in the house. Let's get started, Roots, and let's get started by talking about what I've been playing. And it's interesting, when I learned about the new graphics cards that were coming out and that they were somewhat within my price range, I immediately sold my 1080 Ti out of my machine. And what that effectively did is it left me without PCVR. So I had to choose. Do I want to play stuff on Quest? Do I want to play stuff on PSVR? And I decided that I wanted to play something new with my aim controller because I'd been having so much fun playing Farpoint. I wanted to play something else, and it dawned on me that I've had Unearthing Mars 2 on my hard drive for about a year, and I had never even booted the game. So that's what we played this week, Roots. We played Unearthing Mars 2, which is available not only on PlayStation VR, but on Steam as well. Is it on Steam? I think it might be a Viport exclusive now that I think about it.
Yeah, that's how I played it. It's funny because I didn't even know this game. I mean, I heard about it a little bit, but never really knew anything about it. And so when I heard that you had played it, I was like, man, I think I want to check this out as well. And I went in and tried it, and I was surprised, Wes. I was surprised at how good it was, or how much fun I had. I think we made it pretty much sit close to the same amount of time, correct?
Yeah, well, I mean, we made it pretty much the close to the same amount of progress. I think you might have made a little bit more progress than I did,
Which
maybe just
one?
a sliver. And for the record, I do think that this is on Steam. I don't think that the first one, the first Unearthing Mars, is on Steam, but I do think that the sequel is. But I did play it on PlayStation VR. But after I played it on PlayStation VR, I actually went in and played it on Viveport as well because yeah, I think it's an all right game. It's to be clear, just so everyone knows, this is a rail shooter. They try to dress it up to make you think that it's not a rail shooter because it has node-based teleport in it, but there's only ever one node, so there's only one direction you can go. So it's a rail shooter, but it's a rail shooter with some pretty good action and gameplay mechanics, some decent story, and to me, the most impressive thing about it was the production value. I thought this game looked really good.
Yeah, it looked amazing. It did look a lot better on PC versus the Pro.
Well, that was the reason why I went to the PC after I got my 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 used graphics card and regained the ability to go back into PCVR. Uh, playing it on PlayStation, I knew then I could tell that the strength of the game was the production value, but I could tell also that it was being held back by the console because the picture was very dirty. There was a lot of aliasing on even the PlayStation 4 Pro. So I decided, I can tell that this game would look good if there was enough power behind it. So I went back and played it on Viport, and I had a lot better time playing it on Viport because it was actually crystal clear. And in spite of the fact of not having the aim controller, I actually had a better time playing this one on PC.
Yeah, dude. I at first I didn't know what this was, man. Like I didn't know if it was an experience or if it was like a game, because like so much of the beginning you're just kind of there. Like even in the beginning, like the best part for me, or like the coolest part, was when you're riding on that thing and you see the guy in front of you and he kind of looks like a superhero. And I just picture like this is like a movie and you're riding with this, like that's how a movie would go, right? He jumps off, he's the main character, you follow him down into the action or whatever. It was so cool. It felt so cool. And then I got down in there and then I got a gun and I was like, oh shit, I got some action here. And I liked the gun. I liked the way everything was set up. Like the defense button, like you could get in a rhythm, right? And then you start switching the guns, whether it's the automatic weapon or the shotgun. I had a blast. And the only thing that I thought, that I guess there really isn't a penalty. I guess it's good and bad. For me, that's good, but for someone like you, like when you die, it like kind of restarts the program. And that was another thing that I thought was really cool, was the story and the way it was all told around it, and it like made sense. And when you got, like, it was kind of witty at times, like the person's kind of messing with you. And I don't know, I still don't know exactly what's going on. I guess I'm got sucked into some crystal. I don't know, man. There's weird shit going on in this game, but it was cool, dude. It was something I wasn't expecting. And it's why I love doing the show, because I would have never went in there, Wes. Like, I had already decided this was an older game and I wrote it off, but I went in because you went in, and I wanted to see what you were doing. I wanted to creep on you, dude. And it was cool. So
Yeah, it's a supreme arcade style experience. So what Roots was talking about, there being no penalty to playing it, you get killed. So it is a game by that standard. You can get killed, and there are parts where you actually get killed quite a bit. But there's no penalty to death. It's just like hit continue, and you don't even have to even take a step back. You pick up right where you died at, and it's just like you put another quarter into the machine, right?
yeah, yeah. Except for on the boss that I got to, the chapter 5, I died like 3 or 4 times, and I got a good chunk of his life off, and then died, and then had to start back over. And I can
Oh,
only,
really?
yeah. So I mean, it really is very. It felt like an arcadey type of thing, as far as like you said. I was fighting this boss, and I just liked everything about it. Even in that boss fight, man, the teleporting around, because you have all these nodes in the huge room, and he's doing all sorts of weird shit. He's got all sorts of swords and crisscrossing, and things are staying there that as you're going teleporting, so you're gonna have to duck under them. And I mean, it was this game surprised me, Wes. I was not expecting it to be what it was, and for a game that I didn't pay for because it's on Viveport Infinity, even better, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just another of a growing list of examples of why Infinity is so awesome. Let me ask you, did you have any trouble with teleporting? Because there was times, and it happened quite frequently, but only on the PC version, where I would hit the thumbstick and the node would light up, and I would let go, and it wouldn't do anything.
I found like you had to make sure it was 100% there, like the guy was all the way there or something. Because I did a few times, and so I just made sure I held it a little bit longer till I made sure and teleported. But I don't have the other basis to work against as far as the PlayStation. If it works really well for you, you probably really noticed it. I kind of thought maybe it just got stuck a couple times, but I did
Oh
notice it.
yeah, I mean, it was like on PC, it was like every two or three teleports, it
Mm.
would stick once. And I mean, it didn't make it unplayable or anything, but it was a non-existent problem on the PlayStation. It teleported every time on the first try with the aim controller.
Yeah. Well, it was definitely I noticed it a little bit, but now so was let me ask you this, the weapons, was it different on the PlayStation VR? Because now you're limited to you got the aim as far as that, the aim controller. So you maybe well, I guess there was no handguns, right? Everything was it was probably more odd to be holding a machine gun with one hand, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and on the PlayStation version, and I do believe that this launched on PlayStation first and then came to PC. But on the PlayStation version, the weapons are exactly the same. The only difference is that you actually have two hands on the weapon, unlike a game like, say, Doom VFR, where you've got your two hands on the controller, but in the game you have one hand on it and one hand just sticking out to the side. Um, so yeah, it felt good on on both scenarios. They made the proper adjustments on the PC version, and it played pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah. Well, definitely a game worth checking out in my opinion. It was fun. I want to finish it. And I don't know. Was the first one any better or any good or?
Uh, I never played the first one, but actually the first one was kind of a joke for a while. I mean, it was pretty bad actually, according to most people that reviewed it.
Hmm.
It wasn't like terrible or broken or anything. It was just kind of a meh, but people could take it or leave it. Nobody really said it was fun. Wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good either.
Hmm.
So um, this is a much improved over the original, from what I can tell.
Oh, good. Well, that's good. Well, I'll tell you what. Like I said, I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad you picked it so that I was able to check it or try it. Right?
Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed it as well. It's not the best game I ever played, but it's good for a rail shooter. Normally, you get in on these rail shooters and they're kind of cookie cutter a little bit, but this one had some nice some nice mechanics to it. It had a good selection of weapons. It, hold on a second, I'm hearing myself.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Sorry. There you go.
All right, thank you.
Just
It had a good selection of weapons, and I like the mechanics. I like the defense mechanic. For those of you who've never played it, there's a defense button that allows you to evade incoming gunfire by spawning this little droid robot that just floats around, and it catches the bullets and deflects them for you. And it's really super fast, isn't it?
yeah, it was definitely fast. It was what's funny is I just had that. I just made sure that little icon was up there all the time. I was spamming that button as soon as it was down. I tried to put it back up there. But it must have saved my life. I don't even know how many times, but it definitely
Yeah.
worked really well.
And then you have bullet time. Basically, at will, you can use bullet time during any of these waves. You can't just constantly use it, but you have enough energy in your little reserve to use bullet time twice. And generally, I found that that was all you really needed to decapitate every one of these guys.
Yeah, how cool was that? Like if you could get the timing right, you because it's almost a one shot if you get them when they have that little target on there, right? And so you go
Yeah,
bam, bam, you could just go right across. And some of those nodes, when you hit those slow mo modes or nodes, that was what was so cool. You'd hit them and it would slowly moving you there, and you were just taking out all these. You just felt like it was because the whole premise is you were in this badass guy's memory, or somehow you were experiencing, right? And so you
yeah.
really felt like you were that badass guy, right? It was cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, again, not the best thing I've ever played, but certainly worth my time. And we've said it time and time again. Shooting in VR is kind of hard to screw up, and I feel like they did a pretty good job with this one. For those of you out there who have Viport Infinity, I certainly recommend you give it a look. It's worth a few hours of your time. It's really it's fun.
Yep.
From there, actually, by the time by the time I made it about halfway through the game on PlayStation, I started it over again on Viport and played through about this, maybe a little further than I played the first time. But then I moved on to a nice palate cleanser, a game that you've heard me talk about time and time again over the last couple of months on our show, and another Viport Infinity title, by the way, and that's Good Goliath. I went back into Good Goliath, and Ruuts, I made it. I beat the game, uh, and again, we've talked about it a few times. Uh, there's no better testament to how fun a game is than when one of us actually finishes a game, because we really don't have time to dwell too long. But I kept going back into this one, and I went back into it again this past week and played through the last level. And let me tell you, Roots, you got to get through those pirate levels, because the way this thing ends is absolutely epic. They saved the best for last.
Really? Wow. I'll tell you what, this game is when it first came out, it was like it looked cool, but it didn't look like it would be something that would drag you in and make you want to finish, right? That's exactly
It's
what
just
it did for me. I want to finish it.
Yeah, it's just such addictive gameplay and high production values to go with it. I mean, the uh, not only is the movement smooth, which has to be for this type of game, but there's a fair amount of humor in it as well, and that was really what made the last levels stand out, because it's just so hilarious who your enemies actually turn out to be and who the boss of the game actually turns out to be. It's this guy Stan, and let me tell you, Roots, you don't ever want to come face to face with Stan.
Oh, I bet, dude. Well, I'll tell you, let me ask you this. Now, after playing through this full game, um, and playing through Headmaster, and don't get that confused with the Viveport Infinity version. Um, how close are these two versions? Are like, you know what I mean, as far as gameplay? Because I mean, the addictiveness, the fact that instead of, I mean, obviously you're not heading stuff, but it's very oriented to throwing, and everything's reactive, right? And there's nothing that you do in this game that doesn't involve throwing. Even when you want to have something come back at you, you're throwing to have something come back to catch the throw, right? So
Right.
it's very like a very similar loop in a different way.
Yeah, and it feels really good to throw too. I kind of think that that's another thing that's really key in this game is when you throw it, it feels like it feels natural. It feels like it's going where it's supposed to go, right? So there's point bonuses for hitting distant objects, things that are way off in the distance, and you feel like you can really go for some of that stuff sometimes because the throwing mechanics are so good, and they did such a good job of implementing them.
Are you an expert now at throwing? Because I found myself, especially during the last boss fight that I played, man, I kept missing, dude. I'm like throwing stuff. Jorge's Tridenti. Oh, this is Spanish. Um, Yeah, I really don't. I had a hard time like hitting certain things. I felt like at times I felt like I am amazing. I could hit everything, and then I just keep throwing in the wrong spot over and over and over, and no, that's like I can't get out of that loop. And I know it's me. So I don't know.
Yeah, I felt, I was better at throwing certain objects than others. It's cool because each thing that you could be throwing has a different physics to it, a different mechanic to it. So I got pretty good at throwing the pitchforks. Um, I got good at throwing the barrels as well. The dudes I wasn't the most accurate with. Some of the later enemies and the sharks I wasn't the most accurate with. And let me tell you something, Roots. If you make it all the way through to the end, you're going to see that shark again.
Really? Well, I want to see him up close. You know, I felt betrayed, Wes, because I went to fist bump that sucker, and he just about took my knuckles off. So, those sharks aren't nice in this game. This game is definitely worth, like we've said before, price of admission, especially free by Port Infinity, and it's just got that one more try, get you sucked back in.
Absolutely, and we won't dwell on it forever here because we have covered it so many times in recent weeks. I just wanted to basically to let you know that I finished it, and you're going to want to finish
Nice.
it because the last levels are pretty epic.
Well, I'm gonna definitely finish it. And one thing you need to finish, well, you need to start trying first, is completely unrelated, but Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster, dude. That thing is bringing back memories I forgot I had, dude. It's so cool. Anyway,
Did you try putting the Helix Vision mod on it?
I have not, but I am going to because it's Unreal Engine and it looks so good, Wes. And if I can play it in Helix Vision, that would be amazing. But I'm telling you, dude, anybody that loves Tony Hawk, that it's the completely remake of the Pro Skater 1 and 2, like to the T, but it looks so cool. What's cool is they took like all the pro skaters and even the ones that they took that are newer ones, they put them in like the whatever they do to like record them. You know what I mean? Like their facial
Right.
expressions. But so you're Tony Hawk. If you want to play Tony Hawk, you're gonna play him as a 52-year-old Tony Hawk.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool, dude. It's one of the coolest games I've played flat for a while, and I want to get it into Helix Vision. So I'll let you know if I can. It's really cool.
For sure. If you do that, I might even check it out because I was into the Tony Hawk games way back in the day, and I really enjoyed playing them.
What's cool about it, Wes, is within 15 minutes you'll be doing all your tricks again, dude. It like the muscle memory all comes back. And so I was railing, I was doing rail grinds, and I made a Ruuts, like a bald guy that looked, I mean, it looks kind of like me. So you can make your own guy, and I don't know, I just think it's super cool, and it's
Yeah,
on Epic Game Store only. So
yeah, and I think it's awesome that this is even a thing because I like Tony Hawk as a person. He's a good dude. He does a lot of charity work, and he's just an all around cool guy. And he made his fortune off of those video games. I mean, he's been around since the dawn of time, kind of the godfather of skateboarding, uh, kind of the guy that brought skateboarding to the forefront and made it, a popular thing. But he never really made much money at doing any of that stuff. Where he made his money at was these video games, and just the fact to see that it's coming back, I know that it's going to mean a buttload of money for him. So good for him. I'm happy for him.
yeah, it's really good. So anyway, I was gonna bring it up just because I started playing it last night and I couldn't stop. So
Right.
it's good.
Anyway, good Goliath again, available on Viveport Infinity. Everyone should check it out. It also goes on sale fairly frequently for $10. So if you don't have Viveport Infinity, I recommend you pick it up next time you see it on a sale. It's one of those games you can pick up and play for a few minutes, put it down. It's a good buffer. It's a good palate cleanser in between some of your other more intense gaming sessions. And I know that that's kind of weird to say about this type of game because there is some movement involved. But you can play it seated. You just have to have good reflexes. It's more of a reflex game than a movement game.
Yeah, and it's just something you can just do that doesn't require thinking. It's just more just reflex. So
Right. Yeah. So anyway, why don't you tell the good people about what you played this week, Roots?
Ah,
Besides Tony Hawk's Pro
yeah.
Skater.
Besides Tony Hawk. Well, so I promised everybody after the last show I was going to go into check out this Outer Wilds mod and just see what kind of garbage it is, you know, because I've heard like
Right.
horrible things about. Now I've heard good things about it, but you never know. So I went into it, dude, and just right away I was blown away by just I mean, how good it is. Like I feel like as I'm looking down and I'm using my hands and I couldn't you couldn't for me I couldn't tell it was a flat game brought into VR, except for this video is a little glitchy. Now it did run a little bit weird at first. I had turned something off, I think anti-aliasing, and it helped it run a little bit better. So you know that's going to be something that runs really heavy on your system. So if you don't have a good system, then it might not run as good as it did for me. But Wes, one of the things, and I said this when I was streaming it. I said, "Oh my God, this is Wes's game, dude." Like right off the bat, Radio Runt, he's watching, he's telling me, I'm looking around this main town and I'm trying to buzz through real quick, and he's like, this is a puzzle game. Like all these people are telling you shit you need to know, right?" And then I'm like, "Nah, man, I need to get out of here." So, because I wanted to take off, Wes, I wanted to go into space because I know that you're launching, you're going up into space, right? And so as you're going around and you're talking to all these different people, you're learning a lot of clues. And but what I didn't know is there's a loop, a procedural. I guess it's not even, I don't know if it's procedurally generated, but when you die, it like brings you back to this central hub. And so like you're constantly coming back here. And so you're going to be going back and looking for clues and trying to figure stuff out. And I don't know what's going on these planets I've been to. Some weird shit. But man, this is such a cool game, and it's so intriguing. And it's really cool that they brought this into VR, because I don't know that I would have ever tried it if it wasn't for this mod, really. So
So it's more of like a story based quest style game, kind of like a RPG.
yeah, kind of. And like, I mean, you're going around, you're talking to all these characters, but there's a lot of action too. Like you're even going up this hill, you're gonna there's like this model spaceship. It kind of like reminded me of the Commodore 64 lunar lander or any of those type of things but it's like you've got this model lunar thing. And I thought, wow, this is really cool. But then when you go through this and you get onto the ship, you're in that fucking thing, and it's a big thing, and you're moving it around the same way you were that model ship, but you're in the big ship. And just the fact that you're in this world and that wasn't intended for you to be there in VR, I think it makes it even a little bit sweeter. You know what I mean? Like I'm in this world, I'm not supposed to be here, but as I'm looking around and I'm like, man, it's just so good. It might as well have been made for VR, and it makes me feel like there's really no reason why any game, especially a first person game, but even a third person, you know, just from a distance behind, there's no reason why they can't do it, man. This is a mod, right? So
That's exactly what I was going to say. The more and more we get stuff like this, the more and more I start to realize that maybe we've been led on a little bit by these developers who overstate just how much more work there is into making their game support VR. If these amateur guys that are doing it for absolutely free uh, can do something like this, then it stands to reason that these professional game studios that have tons of developers working in them could probably bang it out pretty quickly. And I understand that their quality standards are going to be a little bit higher, so it's not apples to apples. But you know, through stuff like this, through stuff like Vorpex, through things like Helix Vision, my eyes have been opened up, Roots, to the possibilities here. And I don't think that there's any good reason now that VR is kind of blowing up, that we shouldn't see our favorite franchises come to VR, even if it is in the form of games that have already released on uh, flat platforms.
yeah, and this is like legit full hand presence. You know, I'm toasting marshmallows on the campfire, and like this isn't just okay. We put you in there and we're letting you turn your head around. This is 100% full VR. It's just to me is amazing, and I just think this is weird. This is weird, man. This world is weird, Wes. When you get on that ship and you go into space, these planets, man, like there's weird shit. Like every planet looks weird, and when you get closer and you actually go into that planet, there's stuff going on, and the gravity's different depending on how big it is. And I just think you're gonna love this, man. I know it's your jam, man.
Yeah, it looks pretty awesome. I actually started to try to get a little time into it before the show today, but I had already I'd already factory reset my Oculus Quest, and it was set to go through all of the tutorials and set up again, and I didn't want to clear that stuff. I figured I would just leave it on there, and it was going to be a little bit more time than I wanted to put into it. But definitely looking forward to this. You said it seems a little bit graphics hungry, so hopefully I can get my hands on one of those 3080 cards. And here in a few weeks, I'll have a new headset, have a new graphics card, and I'll be able to get the full experience here.
Yeah, it's just so good. It kind of reminds me of Abduction in a way, as far as like how you had to read everything and how you're going to be using different stuff. That right there happened is weird. I guess it doesn't happen to everyone, Wes. I was special to go open his eyes for me only, damn it. So
You've got the touch, Ruuts.
I got the
He
touch,
knows
man.
You're special.
Yeah, you know who else has the touch?
Who's that?
My mom!
Yeah.
She does, man. She's
Yeah.
got the touch. That's what I hear from many, many, many people.
Many.
Many. But I think it was Upload VR kind of described this game as a No Man's Sky with a story campaign. Do you see the comparison, or is the only real comparison is that it's in space? And are there any like survival elements to this game at all, or is it more of an adventure game?
It's definitely, there's no survival elements that I saw. I mean, you don't have to eat or anything, but I see what they're saying. Because you're taking off, you're going to different planets, and you're literally like, you'll be up there and dude, this is how cool this is, Wes. Like I got too close to the sun, man, and the gravity yanked me in and fucking killed me. You know what I mean? Like there's stuff going on up there in space in this game that didn't go on in other games as far as that goes. And it's not to scale, but man, there's so much there's weird planets, and you'll target onto them and you can autopilot. And so the autopilot will start to pull, and then you can turn around, you can look around and whatever. And then you get closer and you actually go into the atmosphere, and whatever's going on is going on. And I've only gone into a couple places, but every planet is just weird, and everything about this game is weird. I mean, like every person you talk to is bizarre, and it's just cool, man. I really enjoyed the time that I've spent in there so far. And I guess Radio Runt's really been raving about this, and he was kind of upset that I was Sea of Thieves in it up. He said I should have been back in this game, so maybe I need to go back in there tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. My thoughts on the matter. You should always be playing VR over Sea of Thieves. But the mod, I've installed the mod, but I did it like a week or two ago, and I don't really remember what the instruction set was. Do you have to run that mod manager every time that you play the game, or is that just a tool to help you install the mod the first time, and then after that, all you got to do is launch the game?
Well, first, before I answer that, Onakazi makes a good point. Make sure you put your spacesuit on before exiting the ship. I thank God that I've always put the suit on, but I would imagine that would be bad because I've gotten floating out in space before and I didn't die. So, but yeah, the mod manager, basically it's really easy. I use the installer, and there's two things that it installs, like the main file, and then there's another file it tells you it needs to have on there. And then what you'll do is you'll open that mod manager up, and you'll click start game. That's how you open the game from then on, and it'll open. Now, but there's one weird thing about it. Like it says in the instructions that for some people you'll need to have Steam VR open, and to make it open, and then other people you'll need to have it shut. And what was weird for me is the first time I went to open it, I had to have it open, and then after that I had to have it shut. For whatever reason, I had to have it open to open it. Once it opened, then when I restarted it the next time, when I had it open, it was trying to, tell me, oh, it's trying to put it in a game that's not supposed to be in VR. It's going to put it on the desktop, that message. Right. So that's why it tells you not to have it open. So I don't know if that was something that I had to do a second time or something. I don't know. But
well, that was strange, but because that was literally the next question I was going to ask you is if you have to run this through Steam VR, and basically your answer is it really depends. And
well, it runs through Steam VR. When you open it, it's going to open Steam VR. But the problem is when it's open, if you try to click that start game, it's going to give you that message, that warning saying it's not supposed to be in VR. It's going to open it on the desktop. It might create performance issues or whatever that message is. But if you have it shut, when you click that start game, it'll open Steam VR and the game all together, and it doesn't have that issue.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because when I was playing Unearthing Mars last night, I noticed early on that I was having some issues, some performance issues, and I hit the Oculus menu button to go into the Oculus menu, and I noticed, this is the first time I've ever seen this, that there was actually 2 instances running in the Oculus program. There was the game, and Steam VR was still open, and I could switch back and forth between the two from the menu bar. Have you ever had that happen before, Ruuts? I think this might be a new feature, that you can actually have 2 different VR instances open within Oculus.
I have gone to where I've had issues. It seemed like I had frame rate issues, and it turned out that Steam VR was running when it didn't need to be running. Like I was playing an Oculus game, and then I realized, why is Steam VR running? And then I shut it, restarted it, and it ran really good. So I have seen it, but I didn't see it in the way you did. But it really does affect performance, right?
Yeah, man. All I did is go over there and just click. I highlighted the Steam VR, which put me back into the Steam VR lobby, and then I hit the button, hit quit app, and it quit Steam VR. But the Unearthing Mars was still open. I clicked right back into that, and problem solved. Everything ran butter smooth after that.
That's weird. Yeah,
it is. It's strange. Made me feel like I could be running 2 games simultaneously if I had tried it.
Yeah, definitely. That would be maybe with your 3080 you could, right?
Yeah, well, we know that this is going to be a feature on the new PlayStation, that you're going to be able to jump back and forth between games like that. So yeah, maybe it's just another sign of the next gen, right?
Yeah, this looks pretty cool. I think he's exploring the water planet. I found that West, but I was too scared to go down on the water, so I went to a different one. Who knows what's down there?
You see things like that, you got to have yourself a ship and Jim Hall to deal with it, right?
Yeah, I need somebody there to hold my hand. I get kind of scared.
Anyway, it looks cool. I definitely look forward to checking it out if I ever have a PCVR setup again.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be too long.
Nah, a couple weeks, dude. You're gonna have the best PC setup, dude.
That's the idea. That we keep moving and shaking, trying to make it happen, and we've had pretty good luck so far.
Yeah.
Now, let's just hope that I end up actually getting this stuff, and I don't just end up sitting on this pile of money and not able to spend any of it.
Well, everything happens for a reason. Maybe you'll have that money and something will come up and you'll need it. Or maybe you'll get it better.
No, I don't care if the world burns down. That is VR money, son. That's the only thing it's getting spent on.
Well, maybe you'll get the TI if you can't get the 30, right? 3080.
Well, that was kind of my thought too. Is the worst case scenario with it is I pick up like a used 2080 Ti or something, probably for the same amount of money I sold my 1080 Ti for, and we get an upgrade anyway.
Yeah. True, true.
Anyway, yeah, Drillo says piles of money sounds like problems. Yeah, it actually is a problem when I've sold off all of my headsets and my graphics card, and I have no VR except for PlayStation VR. Then we have a problem.
Yeah, dude. Well, you could always get the new Quest 2, you know?
Well, that's the idea, and that's the reason. I don't know if you noticed behind me there, but you see that box there, right?
See,
Well,
you're coming along my wavelength of thinking a little bit more than you used to. It's like if it's gonna sit, fuck man, let's just clearing it out. Let's turn it into money and put it towards something else, right?
well, here's the thing, man. In at least half of the cases of the stuff that I've sold, or about half of the cases, I've made a profit, and then on the other ones, uh, I've made more than what they're worth. You know what I mean? More than I should have. So I've had good luck with it so far.
And if it's just
Uh,
sitting there anyway, like my capture card, dude, sat for a full year. Like the dust on it, it felt good when the money was coming in, right?
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm hoping that quest drops this week, and I guess we could go ahead and move into our next gen discussion. And basically, when I talk about this next gen discussion, I'm talking about this week, dude. This is the week of weeks, and we already knew that it was going to be, but the events of today has just served to confirm that, and simultaneously blow everybody's mind. Because I rolled over, Roots. I was asleep this morning and I rolled over and grabbed my phone as I often do, half asleep, and I saw on there that PD had posted that Quest 2 had leaked, who's hyped. So after I saw that, I couldn't get out of my mind, so I kind of looked into it, and then I saw what everyone else saw, and then after that, man, I couldn't go to sleep. I was excited because if the rumors are true, and it appears that they are, this is a big deal for VR.
Yeah, dude. Like you know what it symbolizes to me, Wes? Roots might be able to do this pretty soon. Like I've been dreaming about doing this. I thought it was gonna be like the Rift S experience for me, but it might legitimately turn into a Quest 2 experience. And I'm psyched.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a legitimate Quest 2. Uh, I mean, we were expecting most of what we learned. I mean, we were expecting uh, we were expecting a better screen. I wasn't expecting a nearly 4K screen. I mean, that kind of blows me away. What I did not expect and what was shocking to me was the XR2 chipset, which is a vast improvement over the Snapdragon 835 that's in it right now. We're talking about light years ahead of that. Not only is it a more powerful chip based on the Snapdragon 865 chip, but it's a variant, a custom variant that is made and manufactured to go in VR headsets,
Mm.
and that's going to make a big difference as well.
Wow, dude. And it's got RAM, right? It's got its own designated RAM, 6 gigs. That's gonna be huge as well. People don't think about that, when it comes to a video card. It's one of the reasons why, you some of those video cards that were like 2 gigs, 3 gigs, you couldn't really take seriously. And the Quest 1 has no gigs, right? Or did it have some in there? I don't know.
Yeah,
Four.
four
Okay.
gigabytes. So we're getting a 50% increase over the first generation
And
Quest.
and what's the DDR on it? Or did they say?
They have not said, but I got to imagine that it's probably at least DDR5. I got to imagine.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll tell you what. When people are saying it, that they were expecting a bump, not a jump. And everybody's getting, everything's going in jumps and leaps and bounds. Think about the jump for the Quest, for the people like myself that don't even own the Quest. I'm going to go from no Quest to Quest 2. I think it's going to be good. And what really gets me excited, because I can't do it with this thing or my Halo, is like watching a movie laying down in bed or something. Like, because of they're going back to the old retro straps, that's going to be really, really comfortable, and it's going to be very versatile, right?
Yeah, I think that we're gonna get a good jump in comfort, not only from the strap, but that soft rubber facial interface. That's more of a kind of a PSVR style interface, and it sits on your face really light.
Mm.
And I got to imagine if this thing's lighter, and they say it is, uh, and the strap, being how awesome is it going to be? One of the most annoying things about Oculus Quest to me is the fact that you constantly have to be adjusting that strap. So it's awesome that you just have this kind of auto adjust solution to that. And I'm sure that's why they put it on there so people can just put this thing on like a hat.
Yeah, exactly. Hussein X wants to know if you regret getting a G2 now that the Quest 2 has almost 4K screen.
Well, that's an interesting question because I do expect this to be a vastly improved Oculus Link experience as well. Uh, One of the things I did this morning after learning about this leak is uh, I remembered that Carmack said the other day that his last year talk from OC6 was a bit of foreshadowing to what's going to be announced this week.
Ooh.
So after I learned of these leaks, I went back and watched that talk, and it's exciting, Roots, to hear some of the things he said, because to hear what he describes is that if they had had even just a little bit more access to customizing the 835 chip, that they were going to be able to deliver a PCVR experience that was on par with the Oculus Rift S. So now that we have this vastly more powerful chip that's being developed specifically for VR headsets, I fully expect that the Oculus Link experience is going to be vastly improved as well. So this morning when I learned about this stuff, this is how my head goes. How can I get one? Well, there's a few different ways I can go about it. I can cancel my G2 order and have enough money to buy two Oculus Quests. I can give up on the 3080 um, and get a 3070 or even get a 2080 Ti, like I said a moment ago, and I can take that savings and buy one of these and get the G2 as well. Or I could say maybe I have to go without PCVR for a month, but maybe I can sell my Oculus Quest and get it all. Get the 3080, get the G2, and get the new Quest. And that's the route I'm going to go, man. I'm going to attempt to sell my Oculus Quest so that I can buy the new Oculus Quest.
Dude, you're doing some swapping. You're just swapping, and just you're making it work, dude. You're getting it all done. I'll tell you what, I want to get one just because it's white and it looks cooler than the other. Wasn't you said that a lot of parents are gonna run out and get the black version of it because they messed up last year and they got the Go instead of the Quest, and then they're gonna try to go get the other ones and they're not gonna know these ones are the white one. Was that you that said that, right? Or maybe it was somebody else.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the gist of your question.
No, it doesn't matter. I was just basically saying that a lot of people were confused. A lot of parents were confused last year. A lot of people were unhappy about getting the Go, and I don't know, man. Now I'm thinking, do I need the Rift S, man? Am I better off to have this Quest 2 as a PC Link? I mean, I'm probably more apt just to keep both of them at this point, but
I got to tell you, Roots, and I told Radio Runt this earlier because he said he was going to keep his Rift S. The experience with the first generation Quest with Oculus Link is almost on par with Oculus Rift S as it is. Now we're talking about a way more resolute panel with a lot more of a lot more power under the hood. The only question becomes comfort. That's it. If this thing is comfortable to wear, there is no question in my mind that the PCVR experience on the Oculus Quest 2 is going to be superior to the Oculus Rift S, and that's I think where the origins of that talk is coming from. I mentioned it yesterday that they have a talk scheduled this Wednesday titled Decisions all in one or PCVR. I think that that's very telling. I think that they know now that the quality of their standalone headsets is good enough to be considered a legitimate PCVR headset. And I don't know if we ever see an Oculus Rift 2 at this point, Roots. And I don't think that I think if you end up owning both, I think that your Rift S is going to end up collecting
Sitting.
dust.
Yeah, it's possible. It depends on. So I don't know. It's going to be more expensive initially because of the link cable, right? You're gonna have to get that. But I think it'd be worth it. But see, this is where I think this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hold on to my Rift S for now. We know there's gonna be a flood of Quest 2. Well, we hope. But a month from now, 6 weeks from now, 2 months from now, when it goes dry, maybe the Rift S's go dry as well. Because what you're saying, they're just going obsolete and everything's going Quest 2. And then there's an artificial shortage or a shortage in general, and then I can bring out the big guns and sell my Rift S. It just collects dust for a few months, but I think I definitely sell it. It just would have to be because right now I there's just too much flooded out there. You're not going to get shit for it. I mean, the Quest 2, I'm looking on eBay and all these other places. They're expensive, dude, because you can't get them. So you actually probably can get a good decent amount for your Quest.
Well, I listed it for 325. I'm not asking an arm and a leg for it because I want to sell it fast, right? I
Man,
want to sell it before Wednesday when this thing comes out for $300, and now all of a sudden my Oculus Quest is worth about 100.
yeah. Well, smart.
So I
Yeah.
priced it. I priced it at 325. I'm including the VR cover set with it. I'm including a link cable with it. So I think I'm going to sell it, Roots.
Yeah, it's a good idea, dude. It's a
And
good
then if I
idea.
don't, I'm still going to buy the Quest 2, but we'll just have to make some other adjustments, like I just talked about, to pay for it. Either take a smaller upgrade on my graphics card, or cancel the G2 because um, do I think that the PC experience through Quest 2 is going to be on the level of a G2? No, I don't. But when we look at it, it comes back to that same old debate we had when we were talking about Oculus Rift S versus Valve Index. Sure, the Valve Index was better, but is it twice the money better?
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, dude.
I
Yeah.
don't think so. And that's the same question here. Sure, the G2 is going to be better than the Quest 2, but is it twice the money better? Because it costs twice as much.
Yeah, and Steven Sales makes a good point. Streaming with Wi-Fi 6 will be awesome, right?
Well, that's
So,
one of the things that's up in the air. A lot of people have been speculating that these things may have Wi-Fi 6 in them, and if they've got a Wi-Fi 6 chip in them, then you know at that point that official wireless tethering is coming, even if it doesn't launch with it.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, but yeah, I'm going to get one. I'm super excited about it. It's I like new stuff, Roots. It's an exciting time, and I love VR. I think that's pretty obvious to anybody that watches this channel. So let's talk about the price, Roots. We're all just kind of assuming that these things are going to be 390 or 299 and 399, like the leaks said. But I got to caution everybody to be careful because generally what ends up happening in these types of situations is we have a set of expectations going into an event, and when reality doesn't match our expectations, we tend to crap all over the product. If I were Facebook, I wouldn't be selling these that cheap. So we can't get mad at them if they're actually $499, $599. But no matter where the price falls on it, Roots, I think that it is going to be affordable to the masses. And if the thing actually does launch at 299, that is utter insanity for me, and it's a big deal for VR.
Well, and it just makes you wonder too. It's insane, but is it insane? Like, we have no idea what costs of manufacturing are anymore, or maybe they've been like just charging way too much for a long time. I don't know, man. We always assume that that's what it's worth, but maybe it is worth $300, and they're finally giving it to us, or they're making a little bit of money or no money just to get it into everybody's hands. This is right before Christmas. This is guaranteed going to be the big Christmas gift of the year. They had last year as the trial run. It got a lot of publicity. Had all the celebrities showing it off. Then you had the shortage for all that time, and now there's a lot of people that still could never got the Quest, and now you're telling me I can get a better one for cheaper? Fuck, man, I'm in, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that this is going to necessarily be the hot item at Christmas. I mean, there's a lot of competition this year. I do think it'll be a hot item at Christmas. And the timing of it all is actually what makes me confident enough to go without PCVR without knowing the launch date. Um, because I think we're going to see this or sooner than later because of the competition. We've got the very next day after the Oculus Connect 7, we've got these graphics cards launching. We've got the very same day we've got the PS5 announcement, which will surely give us the pre-order date and price of the PlayStation 5. We have the Xbox Series X and Series S, which have changed the whole revenue system to a gaming as a service type of structure. They're going to actually allow people to finance those consoles Ruuts and give you Game Pass with it. So for $25 to $35 a month, you get a brand new console and all the games that come with it as well, which is a big deal. So there's a lot of rumblings about a new Nintendo Switch Pro that's set to come this year.
Jesus.
There's a butt ton of Mario products coming out for the regular Nintendo Switch this year. The competition's going to be fierce. So while I might have initially been too scared to give up my headset, because if you'll remember, they announced the first Quest at Oculus Connect 5, and they announced that it would be available in spring, 6 months later. I don't think that that's going to be the case this time because I think if they wait 6 months, everybody's going to spend their money on other things, and and furthermore, I mean, we've been seeing the Oculus Quest go out of stock, which I think is a pretty big indicator that there's going to be something to fill that void coming very, very soon.
Absolutely, because it was. Well, remember when Rift S came out? Right before Rift S came out, the Rift just stopped being replaced, and it was just for several weeks or a month maybe, and then all of a
Right.
sudden the Rift S, they were drying out the inventory. So how pissed would you be if you bought this thing like a couple weeks, the Quest One, just enough to where Best Buy doesn't exchange it for you anymore, and then the
Right.
Quest 2 drops for cheaper, and your friend gets it, and they're talking about, oh, dude, this Wi-Fi 6, man, I can run this game, and you're like, fuck, man, I just got ripped off, man. I guess that's timing, right?
Yeah, that's. I mean, somebody. That's what I told. I forget who it was I was talking to. Maybe Spry Guy this morning, uh, or it was Greg's VR. I told him I was sitting there looking at my Oculus Quest like it's a 2080 Ti,
Uh-huh.
and I just got stuck with it. I should have sold it last week.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it'll work out, dude. I think you're doing everything fast enough. You're reacting quick enough to get it slided under the bus right there
Well,
real
here's the
quick.
thing, Roots. I've got a guy who said he wants it and he's going to buy it.
Oh.
Here's the problem with it, Roots. He can't get it till Wednesday,
Uh,
which is which is OC7. So yeah,
mm.
nervous.
Well, what you do is you promise it to him, and then if anybody else comes, you just say, well, I've got it promised for this, but if you want to pay $25 more, it's yours, and then you justify it because it's more money.
Wow. Blam Crotch says he just sold his Quest on eBay for $490. Way to go, man. You can get the upgraded version and still have money in your pocket, man. That is awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the upgraded version, Wes. I can't see
I'm too.
256, man. That's a lot, and it's a lot of space. It's not even double; it's quadruple the space. It's worth
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm getting the larger one this time as well because when you look at triple to quadruple the compute power, 150% RAM in this thing, what that means is that the games that they're going to develop for it are going to be larger, more rich experiences, and what that's going to translate to is larger file sizes.
Yep.
So whereas I thought that the 64 was fine for the Gen 1 Quest, I don't think that 64 is going to be fine for the Gen 2 Quest. Now, if they had two models and one was a 128 and the other was a 264, I would go for the 128. But all the leaks indicate that this is going to be a 64 versus 256, and 64 I don't think is going to be enough.
Yeah, that's funny, dude. I think they did that on purpose because it is a big jump. Quadruple the space for that amount of money is a no brainer. Whereas 128, even myself, being the space whore I am, would have maybe leaned towards getting the 128 as well because I think that is enough space. But 256 is definitely, we're now entering like 2020 space. That's what blew me away about the Quest 1. Even though it wasn't 2020, we were close enough to where 64, it wasn't taking the Microsoft approach. It wasn't future proofing itself. It was dating itself within a year and a half, 2 years, and now it's not enough, right? It's crazy.
So, so all in all, I think that these are coming soon. We've had two different sets of leaks. We've had some Walmart leaks, which say that they're coming in mid-October, which line up with some release dates for some other related software. So I could definitely see that being a possibility. But we also have seen a Target leak that says that it's coming out this Wednesday. So that's actually a possibility as well. So I think it's going to be one of the other routes. I think we're either going to see it come out in the middle of this week or we're going to see it come out in the middle of next month. And either way, I'm good. I'll be good with PSVR for that long. And I'll be happy to get my new toy and it'll all be worth it in the end.
Yeah, dude. You know, one of the things, bring him just one more chance to throw Tony Hawk back out there. It's on every console, dude, and I guarantee it's going to be amazing on PlayStation 5. So that might be your dirty secret pleasure, guilty pleasure in between VR sessions, because it's fun.
Maybe, but you know what I've got on my hard drive right now? I've got 3 games that I need to finish already, and that's not to even think about Dreams. But I've got Iron Man, I've got Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, and I've got Golem, all 3 of which I want to finish. So I've got plenty of VR to play, even if I do have to go a month without PC.
Onslaught, dude's coming too. You might be playing Onslaught you might be having your choice made for you. Which one you're gonna play?
I had basically chosen to get Onslaught on Steam. Because of the graphics cards and the headsets, the high res headsets. But who knows, man? Maybe Sony's putting their event during OC7 for a reason. Maybe they're going to shock everybody too.
That would be cool, right? They just dropped them.
So
Bam.
Awesome. But then what am I going to sell, Ruuts? I'm out of stuff to sell.
Well, this might sound controversial, Wes, but your wife's got a whole bunch of stuff I know in the other room. Just don't let her know. Don't tell her.
Yeah, I might have to sell one of my kids, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, you could get a lot more. You could buy the yaw, if you're selling kids.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, what else, Ruuts? I mean, obviously this OC7 is going to have a lot to do about the Quest 2, but there's a lot more coming, right? I mean, it's not just about Quest. I think we're going to hear a lot more about AR, which we have heard a lot more about AR this year, anyone who's following it. But I think we're going to get some game reveals too. I think that that we're going to see some more Medal of Honor footage. I think that people are kind of missing the point coming out of the Ubisoft Forward event last week. Everybody kind of disappointed that the AGOS, A Game of Space, is the only VR game that we saw coming from Ubisoft. I think it's quite possible that we can finally see that Splinter Cell game or that Assassin's Creed game get announced this week. And you know what, Ruuts? All of the sudden, the prospects of having those games come out on Quest don't seem so grim anymore, right? Because now we have a Quest that has some capability to it.
So let me ask you this, Wes, and maybe this is more of a question for Gerillo, but I'll throw it to you as well. Do we stop hearing the naysayers, the ones that always worried about, it's made for Quest as well, it's going to look like shit on PC? Is that changed now? Like games developed for Quest 2? No. Yeah.
No,
Absolutely
no,
not.
because the graphics cards are going to be on such a level now that even if Quest 2 uh, is capable of stand playing games in standalone mode that are just as good as today's VR games. A year from now, after the developers have had this 3080 in their hands, uh, what what's possible on PC is going to be so far past what this Quest 2 can do, even with the XR2. So no, I think the PC enthusiasts are always going to be kind of upset because I think standalone and console VR are absolutely going to dominate going forward. PC is always going to be a thing, but it's never going to be the leader of the space. And as
Mm.
long as that's the case, I think that the hardcore PC guy is always going to be a little bit grumpy about it.
Yeah, I think you just threw down the gauntlet, some fighting words there.
I
Um,
just speaking the truth as I see it.
Spry Guy says the added benefit too, if you sell one of your kids, you have an extra room for your yaw as well.
That's true.
You could have a
It
yaw
depends.
room.
It
Yeah.
depends on which kids. I'd have if I want my son's room, I'd have to sell both of them.
Oh,
And then, but I probably would get. Never mind. I'm not going to go down that road.
you can't get rid of
But
your daughter though. You know.
I mean, I could probably get more money for her though.
Oh god. Well, it is 2020, man, and this is a crazy world, right?
It is right. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Oh, we were talking about some of the other surprises that we think we might have in store from OC7, and all of a sudden we get a little bit more clarity now that the cat's out of the bag. I mentioned it yesterday on the show that a couple of people who would be in the loop were teasing that there was surprises in store this week, and now we kind of know what they were talking about with the Oculus Quest 2. But that's not the only thing that all of a sudden we have clarity on now, because when the Stress Level Zero announced that they were going to be working on a Boneworks game for Quest, we all said how, right? Now we know how. When they said that they were going to be bringing The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners to Oculus Quest, we all said how. Now we know how. And interestingly enough, right on the heels of these leaks today, the Skydance Interactive crew took to Twitter to announce that they were going to have a surprise announcement at OC7 this Wednesday. So, what do you think that could be, Roots?
I guess it would be a lot of things. Could be a lot of games. We got a lot of games. Like I haven't heard about Lone Echo for a while, right?
No, I'm talking about Skydance Interactive, the developer
Oh,
behind the Walking Dead Saints
oh,
and Sinners.
maybe multiplayer. Hopefully, that would be nice, right?
No, dude, it's Quest support for their game. They're going to announce
Oh, I
the
got you.
release date of the Quest version because now we know how they're able to actually make that game run on Quest. It's because there's a new Quest.
Right. No, that sucks for the Quest One players, right? I guess they're going to kind
Yeah,
of become antiquated for some
no,
of these
that,
games.
I think that they'll probably get a version. It'll be you know, a watered down version. Obviously, it would have to be, right? Um, but I think that that's really going to shine on the Quest 2. I think that we're going to get a version that's on par with the PlayStation VR version, if not a little bit better.
Now, do you think that this will come into, I guess, consideration as well, and that'll be kind of good? And maybe you have the reverb and the Quest on hand because you can always send back the reverb, right? If you don't like it, or is it once it's there, it's there? How does that
I
work?
haven't read the return policy. I know I can cancel without
Okay.
penalty,
Well, because you
and
might find that the screens are like similar enough that you could, but the tracking is you're gonna have Quest tracking, and that will make a difference, I think. Um,
well, let me tell you, Roots, if there's not $300 worth of difference between the two and I can return it, I absolutely will. There's no need for me to shell out that extra $300 or I guess 600 more dollars, fully knowing that I'm going to need that money for PlayStation VR 2 whenever it comes, whether it be early next year or late next year or the year after. Uh, the saving period is officially beginning for that. I know that's going to be my next purchase. And I don't just have a bunch of money, people, I swear. I've been saving for years uh, for this time that we're in right now. and I've literally sold everything I own so I could get this stuff. If PSVR 2 gets announced next week, I'm not going to have the money for it. I'm going to have to make some hard decisions. And I think the easiest of those hard decisions probably is going to be no G2.
Yeah, cancel it, and then you got all that money. You know, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about you and your specific case of all these things. You know, like you said, it's not just like, oh, Wes is just throwing money around. It's been diligently sacrificing here or there, saving up, right? And then
Yeah.
here's Ruuts to fucking $30. I guess it was only 30 because I had a $10 coupon, but you know, Tony Hawk. You know what I mean? Like that could have went towards. That's almost 1/10 of the more expensive version of the Quest 2, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's
So,
just
and
little
it doesn't take
sacrifices.
long for stuff to add up either. Like, uh, you know, I've sold some stuff. I've sold some pretty big ticket items. I haven't had to sell a whole lot. I've sold my CV1, which you sold for me. Thank you very much. I sold my Rift S at a profit. I'm selling my Quest now. I sold my 1080 Ti, and I sold my capture card at a profit. Besides that, I've got credit card points I've been saving for 2 years, and a couple of Amazon gift cards I've been sitting on. So again, it's not that I'm rolling in money. I'm working for it, right? I'm hustling, trying to make it happen, and I've got to say I've been blessed that things have worked out as well as they have for me because I really didn't expect to be able to pull off what I'm about to pull off.
Dude, you're gonna do it all, man. You're gonna have everything. I'm gonna put that out there right now. It's just gonna work out for you. And you're diligent enough, and you're gonna make sure that you're right there refreshing on day one, and you'll get it.
Yes,
So,
Skiva says so much to buy all at once. I'm going to try, man. I don't know that I'll get it all. I'm really skeptical that I'm going to be able to get a 3080. But we're going to try, man. We're going to put in the effort like nobody else would,
yeah,
and I'm going to try to get every bit of it.
yeah. Well, if anybody knows, Blam Crotch knows. He's been selling stuff off left and right. He's been telling people to sell video cards for a month. He's already sold his index. You know, like he knows what's going on. And
Yeah, it's all about timing, and that's one thing I've learned over the last couple of weeks. Timing is everything when it comes to resale. And that's the reason why I made profit on the things that I did because they were scarce when I sold them. And I think that those of you out there who are thinking about unloading your Quest, now is the time because, it seems like to us, it seems like everyone knows about the new Quest at this point, but the general public doesn't know yet. After Wednesday, they're going to know. It's
mm,
going to be on every NBA game. So it's not going to be a secret anymore. But you got a couple of days, and after that, I mean, maybe I do think that there probably will be some concessions made. Maybe it's the way the IPD works, so there might still be a market for the OG. Um,
it
but
depends on when they release too. If it's announced on Wednesday, it's today. They're here. That's one thing. If it's a month and a half away or a month away, as the quest is drawing up, there are people, and I'm one of those people. Like, if you get it in your head, you want VR, I want it today. I don't want to wait a month. I don't care if it's a better one or not. There's people out there that'll still get it, and you can prey on those people. Don't use them as prey, but they will pay it. You know what I mean? They'll at least pay a fair price like what you're charging. So,
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I don't feel like I'm ripping anybody off. I'm giving the dude like $500 worth of stuff for $300. I mean, what I spend on it, what I mean. So I don't feel like I'm screwing the guy too bad. But I'm doing what I got to do, man. I got to take care of me and my children and my family.
that's right.
And we're a VR family, Roots, and we want new VR.
How cool would it be if you had two Quest 2s? I know that's not the route you would take, even though you could get two of them. You're not going
I
to.
could do it for that. If I let that G2 go, I could get two of them easily.
Yeah, you could, but I think my guess is it would be slotted towards PlayStation VR 2 funds.
Yeah, for sure. Any extra money I have, that's the next thing, and I don't doubt it at all that's going to be my next purchase, my next big thing. The question is when. Hopefully, it's sooner than later. Honestly.
Yeah. Cool. I'm excited for you, bro. I'm gonna be sitting
But
on this. I'm gonna be living vicariously through you, with the exception of the Quest 2. I am gonna probably try to pick that up because, like you said, everything, all my worries about the first one, with the exception of SD card, which with 256 you don't need one really. So I think
right.
this one's made for me.
Yeah, that's what I said this morning. It's like uh, we've had this conversation. I mean, a dozen times already since we learned about this Quest 2, and you keep asking me, do you think it's going to have more memory? Do you think that it's going to have a new chipset? And every time the answer's been no. I don't expect that, especially after we learned that the price was going to be so low. I thought it was impossible that they would do something like this. So the first thing I said to you this morning was Facebook's actually making Ruuts' Quest that he wants. So there you go, man. We asked you what it would take, and aside from that expandable memory, I think they're giving you everything you asked for, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be an amazing headset. And
Lambcrotch says that he's already canceled his G2 and he's getting 2 quests.
oh wow. See? There you go. See, that's how quickly Blam moves, dude. He ain't messing around, bro.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking with the G2 thing. There's no penalty for canceling right now. I think that maybe in a couple of weeks that their terms and conditions might be changing
Mm.
because I think a lot of people are about to cancel that $600 purchase.
I feel bad for HP because didn't something similar happen with the original Reverb and then everyone returned them as well, or is just maybe they didn't like that?
No, they went out with defects, like they had defective screens.
Okay, then I don't feel bad for them. Screw them. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
I guess whatever happens, man. I mean, at this point, you might be having a Quest 2 by the end of the week, and you'll have a lot more money in your pocket for it. That'll be nice.
well, that's the really exciting thing. We've been speculating about this stuff for so long, and we said it yesterday. It's happening now. In 1 week, by the time we do our show next Sunday, we're going to have the answers to all of it. We're going to know what's coming out, how much it's going to cost, when it's coming out, what I was able to order, and when I'm getting it. So we're going to have a lot of answers. We're going to be a lot of happy people, or we might be upset, Roots, because I want to talk about these graphics cards for a minute. I've been following along for quite some time. A lot of people within the tech space, a lot of people who have inside connections, and a lot of very reliable sources have said that these graphics cards are not going to be plentiful at all. And it's not because of the state of the world, and it's not because of any kind of shortages whatsoever, uh, but that it's going to be there's going to be an artificial scarcity created to drive the prices up. That way, Nvidia can have their cake and eat it too. They're seen as the good guy for dropping their prices back down to 2015 levels, but at the same time, they create a shortage that allows them to charge a premium for their chips. It's a win-win for them, and it makes all the sense in the world. So I'm scared, Roots. I'm scared that I might not be able to get in on this 3080 frenzy because this all sounds very logical to me.
Hmm. Well, then it makes you wonder too. Then does it make if the artificial scarcity happens, does my 2080 not drop as much in price, or anybody's card for that matter, right?
That's I mean, obviously they're going to drop in price. What it's going to mean, Roots, it's not going to mean that that we have to pay $1,000 to get a 3080. What it means is we're going to have to wait about 6 weeks to the partner suppliers put out their versions of the 3080s. You know, your EVGAs of the world, your ASUS's, your MSI's. When they put out their versions of the cards, they're going to hit the market at 750, 800, 850, which, I think everybody's going to be happy to pay that as well. But it's certainly not the 700 that um, NVIDIA promised. So to answer your question, I think it will save you a little bit of value on your card, but you're not going to get uh, anywhere near well, I guess in your case, that 800 that you paid for yours, or the 1200 that the TI owners. It's the TI owners. Those are the guys that are really getting screwed in this whole deal because there's a $500 card that's coming out that can do what their $1,200 card does. So
That's crazy. Yeah, I saw that meme with the Matthew McConaughey about the, like the, the 2080 Ti owner or whatever. It's all stressed. Yeah, what a bummer. But I mean, that's my thing is I mean, the more I think about it, I'm just gonna sit back, keep my 2080, wait a little bit, maybe I've never had the Ti, so I'll probably go for the 3080 Ti down the 6 months down the road for the same price, and then just give my card to my son or something.
yeah,
That's
uh,
where I'm leaning.
I think with you having an RTX card, that's a very that's a very solid solid plan because you can afford to wait, right? You can do DLSS 2.0 right now. You can take advantage of all these RTX advancements right now. So you can absolutely sit on your card, wait for those TI and Super versions to come out, and they are coming. They're ready to go right now, actually. NVIDIA is just waiting on AMD to show their cards. And after the AMD event next month, uh, NVIDIA will have a little bit more of an idea of what they're up against. And then it won't be long after that that you'll start to hear about these TI cards. But they're already leaking, Roots. Some of the specs are leaking. And even the 3060 is starting to link. And that's going to be a very impressive card as well at around $300 to $400.
Wow. Well, that's good. Everybody's gonna be able to get into PCVR or PC gaming in general and actually be able to turn stuff up. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good time. It's I think Nvidia I think they feel the potential to lose some gamers to these powerful and well-priced consoles. And it absolutely makes sense because for $500 these consoles, even with at today's prices, for $500 these consoles are going to be able to give you something that a $500 gaming PC just can't. And I think that NVIDIA recognized that potential. They recognize the potential advancements that AMD is going to be bringing to the table with their next gen graphics cards. And they took evasive action. And it's a good thing and it's a smart move.
yeah, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. One more week, we'll know.
Yeah, a few days.
Yeah,
Thursday. Thursday, I'm going to get no sleep Wednesday night, Roots. I'm going to just be up all night hitting refresh.
yeah, it's gonna be your Christmas is coming soon.
Hopefully, hopefully that's how it goes. But we're gonna know soon. We're gonna know on Wednesday what's going down with Sony, and it's kind of interesting the timing of it all. Roots, Sony putting their big event right dead in the middle of the Facebook event. It makes you kind of wonder, right? If there's going to be some PSVR announcement. Not so much of PSVR 2, but they haven't said anything at all about VR on PlayStation 5 yet. They haven't revealed any PS5 exclusive VR games. And I'm wondering, obviously, we already know that this next event's going to be games focused. Coming off the heels of last week's PSVR, week long PSVR event, do you expect that we're going to see any VR news at all during this week's Sony event?
I would hope so. I mean, I don't know, man. Like the whole point, they're going up against Facebook, right? They're putting it right in the smack in the middle or the beginning of this. And Facebook this is all about VR. But then you don't do any VR. That would be weird. I want to know. A couple questions. Resident Evil 8, solidify it. Wes needs sleep from that. It's probably keeping you from sleeping.
Do I ever?
And then I want to know about some sequels, Farpoint. Tell us about Farpoint, Astrobot, something that throw in something that we didn't know, something that we aren't expecting. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It's something that just blows our mind. And I want to know if there's exclusives or what the exclusives are. Is there what VR games coming out that's going to be only for PlayStation 5 owners, right? They have to have
Right,
something.
and that's the whole thing, right? That's Sony doesn't have to announce hardware this week. They just have to give us some game news because uh, that's their strength, right? That's why Sony is Sony. It's because of the Sony library of games. And all they would have to do is they said it in their announcement that they're going to give us updates on their worldwide studios. That's a big deal. That means that these first party Sony games we're going to learn a lot more about. So I think that it's likely, Roots, when you consider that they're giving us updates on worldwide studios, when you consider the fact that they put it during the Facebook event, when you consider the fact that there's a PSVR event still going on right now, even though the week's up, Roots, there's still a huge, maybe the biggest PSVR sale that I've ever seen going on right now during this PS5 event that's going down Wednesday. The timing of it all seems like it's very likely that we are going to get at least some VR news out of this thing. And just taking one look at the PS4 VR library shows you why, out of all of these things, whether it be Quest 2, whether it be the graphics cards, the G2, the one thing that I've always maintained is the thing that I'm absolutely getting this year is the PlayStation 5. That's at the top of my list. And those Sony games, Roots, those are the reason why.
You could be playing Astrobot and on a new system by the end of the week, or by, I guess, what, right? I mean, it could conceivably happen, right?
I could have my system ordered
Well, yeah.
by the end of the week. I think that it's likely that I will have it ordered by the end of next week. But I expect it to release a week or two before Black Friday. I think it's going to launch right around the 17th of November, right around the time that Cyberpunk is going to launch. I think this is when the PlayStation is going to launch as well.
I don't know about that name, Wes. Black Friday. That's got to change in 2020. Like,
right.
It's just not going to exist anymore.
Dude, I was watching football or some football highlights, and I knew that the Washington Redskins had changed their name, which I thought was ridiculous in and of itself. What I didn't know is what they changed their name to. They're now the Washington Football Team.
This is generic as it gets, bro.
It's like AGOS, a game of space, right? It's the most generic name ever.
We're going to change our podcast to the VR podcast show. You know, it would be the equivalent, right?
Good Lord, man. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Exactly. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of all of this excitement for Sony and all of this excitement for the PSVR event, let's talk a little bit about these games that are on sale right now, Roots. Again, I don't know if I've ever seen a PlayStation VR sale that's quite on this level. There was one sale. It was the first PSVR anniversary sale. It happened like 3 weeks after I got my first VR headset, and like it seemed like most of the titles on the PSVR store were on sale at that time. I haven't seen a sale the likes of that since then until now. I think that this sale is actually on that level.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a lot of good games, and Delirium Drew wants to know if I've ever played good PlayStation VR games. There are none. They don't exist. No, actually, I've played Farpoint, Astrobot, Resident Evil, Rush of Blood. Those are my top 4, I would say, just off the top of my head, of amazing PlayStation VR games.
Man, how good is Rush of Blood? That's one I always go back to. It's like Farpoint. It's one that just never, ever gets old.
And I keep saying this, dude, I want a legitimate combat coaster in PCVR. I want a head-to-head. I mean, dude, that's always was my favorite in every game, whether it was, those type of games like Diddy Kong or Donkey Kong or any of those things, the roller coaster levels were the best, right? And if you could actually when you do those in VR, at least Rush of Blood is amazing to me. It doesn't even have to be themed after horror. It can just be amazing roller coaster tracks with amazing shooting, right?
Absolutely. And even in Rush of Blood, I'm not Rush of Blood, but Astrobot, one of my favorite levels is the minecart level. I don't know if you made it all the way through the game, but there's an amazing, like roller coaster minecart type track level where you actually have to hop the cart between the tracks to avoid gaps and obstacles.
Mhm.
A ton of fun.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I just I love roller coasters, and that's why I really am jealous of the yaw. I want the yaw, man, with no
Yeah,
limits too.
absolutely. Um, let's see, who was it here? I just read a comment and it got away. Oh, Gabriel Alarcon said, "Did you all hear about the PS5 system on a chip yields?" I did not. I haven't heard anything about that. Hopefully, it's good news. Hopefully that they're getting some pretty good yields out of their wafers. But I haven't heard anything about it.
Roy Schwartz wants to know if you've ever played Firewall.
Roy Schwartz knows I've played Firewall because that's actually uh, I've actually played Firewall with Roy Schwartz. It was one of the first things that we did when I first really got to know Roy was play Firewall. And let me tell you, man, he's a killer. He absolutely carried me. And Roy, I probably haven't played 5 times since we played together that time.
Yeah, remember you and I talked about getting together with your wife and me and getting a squad, and then I sold my PlayStation VR. So
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about Firewall lately, man. It's such a good game. Most people rank it ahead of Farpoint. I'm not one of those people, but most people rank it ahead of Farpoint, and it just goes to show the fact that a multiplayer game has had this kind of legs, still has a passionate fan base, and I mean, you have to wait in the lobby, but you don't have to wait that long in the lobby. Um, it just goes to show what kind of a quality game it is, and it's an outstanding good time.
yeah, it's Rainbow Six Siege in VR. It's very similar. So
Absolutely. So anyway, we had to cut it for time yesterday. I put together a list of some of the better games that are on sale this week, and then some of the better deals that are on sale in the PlayStation VR store. And I want to go ahead and share those with everybody today because I didn't get a chance to yesterday. But there's some great deals on here and some absolute must-have titles, Roots.
yeah, well, we brought up one of them yesterday at the end of it, and I'll start with that one, right? Which was The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners. Which, if you don't own this already, Roots questions your soul, and now's the time to get it cheap, right?
Yeah, man. This might be the best game on PlayStation VR. Um, I'm not saying that it's my favorite game, but as far as just a depth of gameplay perspective and a pretty lengthy campaign and just the overall quality of the game, it's certainly the best third-party title without question. Uh, well, I am kind of partial to Resident Evil 7, but I would put them neck and neck. This is one of the best games on PlayStation VR. It's one of the best games in VR, and it's 25% off, Roots, no matter which version you buy. You can own this game for $30 today.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what. Like I said, if you haven't played this game and you're not Scion VR, in opposed to zombie games in general, this game is one of the best games I've played in VR, hands down. So, and it, like, I agree with you. It's probably one of the best, or if not the best game on PlayStation VR at the moment.
Absolutely. Skiba says PSVR was my first. I'll keep it to the day I die. Exactly the same here, dude. I started on PlayStation VR. I now have 2 of them. I have 2 PlayStations and 2 VRs, and I'm absolutely keeping both of them. That's the reason why I said I was going to have a dilemma if I had to buy more, like a new PSVR, because I'm not selling my old ones.
Mhm.
We use these frequently for multiplayer, and all that the PS5 and PSVR 2 is going to do is give us a third player. So these are going nowhere, and I absolutely agree with you.
That's gonna be really cool. You're gonna be able to play like with both parents and the one kid, right? Whoever your
Yeah, well, I mean, it
favorite is.
depends on what we play, man. If we play Rec Room, we can do all 5 after we get the PlayStation,
Oh,
the new PlayStation,
how cool is that? Family night, right? In the rec room, dude.
for sure.
That's cool.
But anyway, The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners up there is one of the best VR games uh, of all time. But without question, the best superhero VR game of all time is a PlayStation exclusive, Roots. Iron Man VR, also $30 during this massive PSVR blowout.
Wow. How psyched are you to see this game on the PS5?
Dude, it's going to be so awesome. Not only because it's going to kill those load times,
That's what I was just
uh,
thinking.
but all of the every bit of the issues that I had with the game were performance issues. But you could tell that it was like so many games on PlayStation VR are. It was scaling performance, right? It
Mm.
scales to your overhead. So when the new console comes out and we have all of that extra power, I got to imagine that most PlayStation VR titles are going to benefit from it, and this is certainly going to be one of them.
So let me ask you this. I would imagine that your mindset's got to be like, because you were just saying there's certain games out there you still got to beat. Golem, Iron Man. Is it safe to assume that those games are now shelved for the next week to 6 weeks or whatever, or would you go back in tomorrow and try to beat them, or are you going to wait for the graphics to be better?
Well, it depends, man. It depends on how long I've got to wait for Quest 2, because I am scheduled to get rid of my last PCVR headset on Wednesday,
Mm.
and from that point forward, PSVR is all I've got. I'm not flat gaming. I'd rather play PSVR than any flat game on Steam. So I'm going to be in PSVR and I'm going to be playing those games. Now, if I end up getting a Quest on the same day, well, then yeah, maybe there are games specifically that I am shelving playing again until the PS5. Here They Lie being one of them. I've had the itch to play it again for a while, but I've been avoiding it because I want to experience it again on PS5 next time.
Yeah,
So
that's the conundrum, because you're now almost trapped to PlayStation VR only for a little bit of time. You don't want to finish these games or play them on an inferior system when you know the more better one's coming, but you gotta play something, dude. You know what I mean? So
right.
maybe you're just gonna, like, you could, I guess, I would hold off on like the big ones like Iron Man and stuff that are gonna just be phenomenal when it's, and maybe hit the ones that I mean, there's always something that, like you did today.
Dreams,
Dreams.
dude. They're gonna spend a lot of time in dreams.
Yeah, and you just like Unearthing Mars. You know, you picked that you
Yeah.
weren't going to say, "Oh, I need to wait for PlayStation 5."
Yeah, and that's true. And one of the things that's on sale during this PlayStation sale that I didn't list on here, but it absolutely is on a significant sale this week, is the Headmaster Lost Lessons DLC, which I
Ooh,
haven't played yet.
wow. There you
So I
go.
might pick that up and play that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then we got Minecraft. We can play Minecraft, right?
Yeah, dude. Jim Hall was just telling me the same thing that you told me weeks ago. You were like, or whatever it was. He's like, it's a kid's game. He doesn't get it. He was just totally trashing it. And I said, hey, man, Wes, I mean, it's not like it's Wes's game of the year, but his eyes were
Oh,
opened to where you could see, at least see the viability. Like Jim's like, I don't even see why anybody would play this. And I'm like, it's different when you're in VR. It just is. Um,
it's well, let me start by saying I'd never play it alone. But with that said, it's a good fun thing to do with a friend. That was the fun of it for me, is being in there with Ruuts, and it's this large, like infinitely large, procedurally generated world with secrets everywhere. You get to explore, and that's what's fun about it. For me, it isn't the building or any of that crap. There's a vast forest full of evil things that are trying to kill you. Uh, but then if you explore, you're going to find things that are valuable and be able to bring them back. So again, a lot of fun with a friend, and coming very, very soon to PlayStation VR.
yeah. Well, have you gone into it with your kids yet? They'll
No,
probably.
because I only have the one headset that can do it right now.
Yeah, they're
So
gonna really enjoy having you in there. It's gonna be cool.
yeah, I told them I'd buy it as soon as it launches, or if I catch it on sale beforehand, I'll buy it too. So
Yeah, I
um,
I enjoy it. I know Paradise Decay has built some amazing like Star Wars worlds and stuff back in the day. I don't think he does it anymore, but that's what's cool about Minecraft is you can build some really cool worlds and then go into that world, and it's just cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, and that's why my kids love it, right? Because they're good at building this stuff, and they put a lot of time into it, and they're going to be thrilled when Daddy actually gets to go into their
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah, Daddy, come check this out. And you'll be like, ah, and then you get in there and be like, whoa, that's really cool. So,
Anyway, another great what once was a PSVR exclusive now has come to Oculus Quest and PC, but it's still a must-have game no matter which platform you get it on. Tetris Effect Roots, half off this week on PlayStation, $20.
wow, this game, hands down, totally worth it. One of the best games in VR. If you like Tetris, I enjoy it. I think it's got something special, and I don't know what the difference is, Wes, because Anthony said the same thing. But Jim always telling me he tried the demo and it was just Tetris and it was nothing special. I remember Anthony said that, and there I just think
Wow.
that there's something that like it doesn't you translate the full game. Like there's something about it. I don't know, man. I thought this game was genius. I mean, the way the haptics, the audio, everything about it were coming together, the visuals, and it was like it was just different than any Tetris I've ever played, and it was almost an experience as well as the game, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. This is the best integration of the senses that I've ever seen in VR. Touch, sound, sight, it all works together in a way that it's almost hard to explain to someone who hasn't experienced it. Everything affects the other things. You hit the button, it affects the sound, which also affects particle effects that go everywhere. I think the problem with just playing the demo is that you're just playing the demo. You really have to progress through the journey mode to really appreciate it for what it is. Every map is different, and there's a lot of different maps.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Every time I see it, I want to play it. It's just one of those chill games. I did enjoy Tetris growing up, so I mean, I guess that if you absolutely hate Tetris, you're probably not going to like it. But that was one of the biggest things that people complained about when this game came out is the cost. It was so expensive for what they thought it should be, and now you're telling me you can get it for 50% off. That's a no-brainer to me.
Absolutely. Um, let's see here. I've lost my comment again. I had one I wanted to read off.
Now, I know it wasn't Spry
Oh,
Guys because he
oh,
says
it's
that. Oh, go ahead.
no, it was hard to get. Says that still Astrobot is the best PSVR game, and I can't argue with that. Astrobot is an absolutely amazing game. It's the definitive VR platformer, and it's one of a handful of games on PS4 VR that looks like a PC game inside the headset. Root's Astrobot Rescue Mission is $7 this week.
Wow, dude. So I'll tell you what, that's another game that's a no-brainer. This is arguably one of the best, if not one of the best game in VR. Definitely the best platformer, in my opinion. Um, and just shows what Mario is going to be like in VR someday because this is its own brand, right? And it's just really good. Now, the only thing I don't
Yeah.
understand is the new Astrobot. I'm still confused about what part it's going to play and how, the fact that it's not VR, but it is VR with another player. And I'm kind of curious to see
Well,
how that's all going to work out.
I'll explain this to you. The Astrobot character doesn't have its origin from the Astrobot VR game. The Astrobot character takes its origin from a free app on the PlayStation 4 called the Playroom.
Right.
And the Playroom was a bit of a tech demo. It was meant to show off some of the new features of the PlayStation 4. And then after the PSVR came out, they did a VR version called the Playroom VR. So basically, what this Astrobot title that you saw is, it is the Playroom for PS5.
Hmm.
It's a title that's intended to show off the new features of the new console. It's intended to show off the advanced haptics in the DualSense controller. It's intended to show off the Tempest audio engine. These things, and I got to imagine that after PSVR 2 becomes a thing, that there will be another version of Astro's Playroom that revolves around VR.
Okay. Drilla wants to know if Tetris Effect is still in prison, in Epic Game Store prison.
I'm not sure. I think you might be able to get it on the Rift Store. I know you can get it on Oculus Quest Store. So.
Yeah, I don't see it on the Rift Store, but that's kind of weird. I wonder if you bought one, if it's not cross-buy. I didn't see it on there, but
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see it on there. I think it's only Quest right now and Epic Game Store. So.
Yeah, so unfortunately, you'll have to take 5 minutes and do another login. So.
Well, I'll tell
Sorry
you what.
about your luck,
Yeah, he's never going to Epic Game Store, dude. He's already trashed it too much to ever make that move, right, Drillo?
He'll never admit it. He probably is just asking this question as a front so that we won't find out that he already has it secretly.
Yeah, he's like championing it actually. So.
Ruuts, I said Astro bought one of only a handful of games that looks like a PC game from within the headset. Another one of those games, Blood and Truth. Another definitive action game, one of the best shooters I've ever played in VR, and absolutely gorgeous visuals. Blood and Truth also on sale this week, Ruuts, only $15.
Wow.
Amazing.
Is that half price? Is this like a half price sale, right?
Yeah, it's half price or more. It might even be more.
Wow. Well,
I think it was like a $40 or $50 game when it launched.
Well, sounds like they're getting ready to announce some new games that are going to be more expensive if they're making the old ones cheaper.
Yeah, it sounds that way, don't it?
Yeah.
All right. Trover Saves the Universe. Another one of the best platformers I've ever played. Probably the funniest video game I've ever played. $18. Trover Saves the Universe.
Really? Wow, that's a good deal. Somebody just said that they got Tetris Effect on Steam, but I don't see it on there. Man, unless I'm
yeah, that's news to me, man.
Yeah, but no, Trover Saves the Universe. Did you ever finish that? Maybe that'd be a good game you could finish. Don't you have that on PlayStation VR as well?
Actually, that was a GameFly game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Just to try it, right?
Yeah. You got pranked. Said a bunch of stuff, and then said he's probably going to get muted. We generally tend to let people say what they want. Just don't go spamming it, man, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Unless it's as long as you're not being rude to people. Everybody's got different opinions, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he's just being enthusiastic. He says he's waiting for the Oculus Quest 2. Hopefully you won't have to wait that long, man. Hopefully we'll have it by the end of the week.
Dude, do you think Ruuts will actually have an Oculus Quest in his room and put it on? And
I think you're going to buy one. Watch, I told you even before we knew all of this stuff that you're going to buy this headset.
Yeah. Well,
I knew it. I didn't know it was going to be this good, but there's no doubt in my mind now that you're going to buy one.
Yeah, I might have to start looking around at what I can sell, right? So.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something, right?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Where were we at? Blood and Truth, Trover, Rush of Blood. You were just talking about how awesome it was. One of the best games in VR. One that I still go back to on a frequent basis. $5.
Man, $5. It's worth $5 all day. And how long is that game? It's several hours, right?
Yeah. I'm thinking that it's 4 to 6 hours to play through the whole thing. It just depends on how much you get killed, right? Yeah, you get killed and you have to go back to the checkpoints, and there are a few spots where you have to kind of play through over and over and over again until you get the timing down. So it just depends. People could probably get through it in a couple of hours if you're an expert at it.
Yeah.
But generally, I would say 3 to 5, maybe 4 to 6 hours.
It's $1 an hour.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, $5 all day.
For sure. Speaking of great games, Ruuts, Moss. Moss is another one that I feel like that we're a lot closer to getting the sequel to it than anyone realizes. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the sequel to this title this year, even though we haven't heard any such announcement. It's time for it, Ruuts. And the reason why I say it's time for it is because the first one was so good, and so many people are excited to continue on the story.
Well, and the way they left it open, it just made you feel like at the end you were like, oh, dude, like there was another chapter coming, right? Uh,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see it. I mean, they've had several years to learn even more, right? So the second one should be even better.
Yeah, I agree, and we've seen it even from the least talented developers. We've seen massive improvements game to game in VR. So I could only imagine what these very talented developers at Polyarc, how much they've advanced with what they're able to do in VR. And not only will we have these developers advancing in their skill, but again, since Moss came out, the equipment has advanced leaps and bounds. So yeah, I got to imagine Moss 2 is going to be pretty epic.
Yeah, I feel sorry for all the people slumming it with PlayStation 4 when the 5 comes out. It's gonna be like, oh man, I got this piece of. I mean, it's still good uh, console, but do you think there'll be a PlayStation 5 Pro at some point?
I I don't think that they want to do that. I think that if the Xbox Series X uh, grabs a bigger market share than what they're comfortable with, then they might go that route. But I think at this point that the plan is just to ride this one out, and if they can make it 5 years, they can just uh, PSVR 6.
Yeah, man. PlayStation 4 has been out so long, it just doesn't feel that long. But I mean, it's coming up on a decade, right? Or close.
Yeah, yeah. It's been around a minute now, 7 years. So yeah. Firewall Zero Hour. We were just talking about it a moment ago. Most people say it's the best aim controller game. I say Farpoint is, but Farpoint on sale as well. Firewall $8, Farpoint $10. I think that they're both Mustang games, and especially at these prices.
Oh man, that's the one trailer I should have made four of. I didn't make one of Farpoint. What the hell, dude? What about the aim controller? Do you think they'll start putting that on sale at all? Or I mean, that'd be something that'd be great. I mean, can you imagine if it was like 25, $30? I mean, how many people would jump on that shit?
You can get one for like 40 to 45 if you don't mind taking a used one, but GameStop has them for pretty cheap these days.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that much, but
Yeah. Uh, Transference. Somebody mentioned it in the chat a moment ago. One of the most immersive story, dark stories that I've experienced in VR. One of the best examples of production values in VR I've ever seen, and an absolute must-own title, especially Roots at $5.
yeah, that's about $1 an hour, right? That is at least, well, it's like 3 or 4 hours, right?
It's
Was
like
it a couple hours?
it's 2 hours.
Okay, so it's $2 an hour. That's damn good. I don't know, man. I thought, when it first came out, what was it, $20, right? Or was it
Yeah, it was $20.
Yeah, $20. And we
Or
said,
actually, yo, you're right. It was $30. That's right. Because
okay,
this is coming to us from film company. This is Elijah Wood's uh, production company, which escapes me at the moment what they're called, but it's the same group that brought us Mandy last year. Awesome movie, awesome horror movie.
yeah,
But yeah, this is like a Hollywood quality story experience in VR, and to get it for $5 is kind of ridiculous.
yeah. Especially since I paid 30 for it. I mean, it's worth $5 all day long. SpectraVision. Is the name
Well, I
of it.
mean, I wasn't upset with my $30 purchase, if that tells you anything. Like it took me 3 hours to play through it, and I was happy. So that should tell you something. $30, 3 hours, $10 an hour, and I couldn't complain at all about it at the end of it.
Let me ask you this. Do you know what, like somebody was saying in the Discord yesterday, and I kind of felt the same way. They said, I played through it, but I still couldn't really tell you exactly what the story was about. I mean,
Yeah, it was
just,
Scion.
yeah,
I
the
think it was
gist of it.
Scion.
Yeah, I can give you the gist of it, but for overall, I'm kind of in the same boat.
Well, do you remember a moment ago I was talking about those games that I'm waiting for the next gen hardware to play through them again? Transference is one of those games, and I didn't really want to get into it publicly because I didn't want to spoil this game for anybody. But after I play through this game again, which won't be long from now, uh, I've got a pretty good grip on the story, I think, and I'll be glad to explain it and talk to it or talk to you about it, and anyone else who wants to join the conversation. Uh, the invitation to our Discord's in the description down below, and this will be an upcoming spoiler talk on the Discord. So, for those of you who were confused by transference, um, we'll talk about it soon, and I will give you my take on it.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. So, from this point on, or up until this point, I guess I should say, every title that I've listed so far, I would consider to be a must own VR title. If you do not own any of these PSVR games that are on sale this week and you have a PlayStation VR, you should buy it now. And if you don't own any of them, you should buy them all now. And they're all on great deals, some of which uh, are the lowest prices I've ever seen on them. And I promise you won't be sorry if you buy any of those titles. I'm going to round out the list here and the episode Roots by running through a few more that I listed here that were really might not be must own titles, but are good titles and great deals. And I'm just going to kind of blast through the list here, and then we're going to wrap it up and go home.
Yeah, sounds good.
Anyway, one thing that I've been interested in since it was announced and launched was the Penn and Teller VR game or app, if you will. Um, I've always kind of been interested in this, but I've always kind of felt that it was overpriced. Well, guess what, guys? Not overpriced anymore. $8 on PlayStation VR. You can get the Penn and Teller VR app and prank your friends from inside VR.
Wow.
Borderlands 2 VR. I struggled with whether or not I should put this on the must own games list. A lot of people would tell you Borderlands 2 VR is a must own VR game. I think it's a very, very good VR game, and it supports aim controller on PlayStation. So to be able to get it at $25, it's a heck of a deal. And for those of you waiting on it to go on sale, now's the time to pick it up.
Well, it's definitely a beefy game. I guarantee if you play through it, it's going to be maybe 50 cents an hour because you're going to put in 50 hours or more. I mean, that game is
Absolutely.
huge.
Yeah, and not only do you get the base game, but you get all of the DLC that they ever released for it. So I mean, what, 50, 60 hours in this game?
Yeah,
Maybe more?
maybe more. Yep.
The Mage's Tale. People want a good dungeon crawler. Many people say the Mage's Tale is the best dungeon crawler in VR, and it was a pretty good PSVR port as well. $10.
Yeah, Mamefan says that's one of his favorites, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I know a lot of people do.
I know he says it. I always thought he said it was good. So
Yeah.
I could be
Yeah,
remembering.
well, it
wrong.
is good. It's a very high quality, high production quality game, and it's a classic dungeon crawler in VR.
Yeah, absolutely.
Immortal Legacy VR, probably the most divisive game on this list, with the exception of Tetris Effect. Roots, I really enjoyed Immortal Legacy. I don't think it gets the credit it deserves, and I think it's a steal at $10.
Oh yeah, $10 all day because it's actually one of the. It's got so many different genres that it hits, right? And it's one of those games when we played it and talked about it, it was very divisive. Some people said it was really good, you and me included, and other people said it was garbage. And it really stemmed around the movement schemes, and this is another reason why we need move controllers with joysticks to avoid all of that argument, right?
Absolutely. Super Hot, and I hesitate to say this because I've been telling people to stop buying Super Hot so that they'll finally release the damn sequel. But it's just $10, Roots, and I think if you don't have Super Hot, you don't see it on sale for $10 very often.
No, and it's one of the games that everybody knows about. It's out there flat, right? Didn't it come out flat first, or at least at the same time? And it's one of the games that is really, really cool for new people in VR. as far as the movements, just the fact, the way that you have to stand still and move, things move. People really dig it. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's still one of the best in VR, and it's still fun to play. It's one of those games you can replay easily after you beat it, and it's still fun.
yeah, we want Super Cold though, or whatever they call the sequel.
Exactly. Speaking of uh, beating games, Rich, you know which singular title I've beaten more times than any other title in VR?
What's that?
Arizona Sunshine.
Oh yeah,
For as much as it's shown its age, it's still a great zombie shooter, and it's one of the best multiplayer experiences in VR. You don't have very many multiplayer co-op campaigns. There are co-op maps. There's versus multiplayer, but there's not a whole lot of multiplayer campaigns in VR. So the campaign from Arizona Sunshine being fully playable in co-op is kind of a big deal. So to be able to get that for $10, again, you don't find that very often.
yeah, dude. PlayStation VR owners, man, if you just got in PlayStation VR, you can get a lot of games right now, all the good ones, right? So
Absolutely. And maybe you're like me. Maybe you've played through Arizona Sunshine co-op a few times, and you want something similar. Killing Floor Incursion, a great zombie shooter game that you can also play with a friend, co-op fully from start to finish. $8 for Killing Floor Incursion.
yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I think it was Jarillo was just saying he just played through some of this. It like had just sucked him in back in with some Killing Floor Incursion. I just saw that today in the Discord. Still
Yeah.
pulling people in, and it is one of the best. It's one of the best types of games that you can play with somebody else, zombie wise, or I guess I don't know. I guess there's zombies, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're Zeds, they call them.
Oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Remember Zed? Whatever happened to that game?
I don't know, man. I keep waiting on it to get the locomotion update, but it still hasn't. So,
Man, that was a long time ago.
yeah, I know, right? You'd think they'd get it at some point.
Yeah.
Aspire One, $12. I mean, that's a fairly recent title to get such a heavy discount, right?
Hey, yeah, that's a really good discount for sure.
Yeah. LA Noir, $15. This is one of your favorites.
Dude, I want the full game, or I want a sequel, man. Yeah, dude, the VR game. You played it some before as well, or have you tried this? I can't remember.
I've never played an LA Noir.
Oh, dude, this would be a good one for you to try. Even just driving around, it's the closest thing to having VR, GTA 5 and VR, and I just love Cole, man. He's a badass detective, and I just like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Gorn, one of the most popular releases of the year. It only's been out about a month and a half. Already $15.
Wow, dude, how's it being received? I know everybody was like waiting on Gorn, right? For who knows how long. I mean, it was the big thing, right? Are people still raving about it now that they got it, or is it just because they wanted something they couldn't have?
People are still fairly content with it, but things are about to change, Roots, because Ninja Legends is about to come to
Ooh,
PlayStation VR. Until You Fall is about to come to PlayStation VR, and it won't be super long before Hellsplit Arena comes to PlayStation VR. And all three of those games do what Gorn does, but better.
yeah. Well, good times.
Paper Beast, another fairly recent release, $16.
Ooh, wow. That's a good deal. I was just looking at that on Viveport thinking I need to get back in there and see how this thing finishes.
As was I. Roots Audica, Your Baby, $20. At $19.
Ooh, dude, that is a must have. You just got pranked, dude. If you don't have Audica, then you should leave. No, just kidding. You definitely need to get it. Audica is the game of the year of all years, and it's the best rhythm game out there. And if you don't believe me, ask Radio Runt. He'll tell you.
Yeah, he would pick it up, but he's waiting on the Oculus Quest 2.
Oh, yeah. Well, who isn't, though, right? And we're right
I
there,
know.
dude. Soon, next week, we'll have it.
That's right. Uh, Speaking of great multiplayer games on PlayStation VR, Rush is a ton of fun, an underrated game, and it's on sale for $10.
Oh, wow. That is a good deal. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
fun
it's
game.
a great game. Star Trek Bridge Crew Route, $7 on PlayStation.
Yeah, dude, is that cross-platform? Can you like?
I
Cause
don't think so. I
okay.
don't know, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I was just talking to Scion. We are going to go back in there. We're going to see if we can drag gaming science teacher kicking and screaming into the match. We're going to try to get her back in there. We need to finish it. So,
yeah, for sure. Ghost Giant, one of the best story-driven exploration games on PlayStation VR, half price, $15.
oh wow, another 50%. Blam Crotch just said he bought Audica because of us, and it's kind of hard to get into. It is definitely one of those games that has a learning curve, but man, it just feels so good to me.
Yeah, awesome. It's definitely again better than Beat Saber in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
ET2K9 says Delirium is Operencia this month. It is. It's like a week or two before that VR patch drops.
Yeah, it's coming soon, right?
Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. The Impatient, one of the most underrated titles on PlayStation. A lot of people will tell you that The Impatient is garbage, but that's only because they were expecting Rush of Blood 2. I can tell you that if you like a dark narrative, The Impatient is a very good game, especially for $10.
Wasn't it priced expensive as well? And that was another reason why people thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was like $40 or something, 30 or $40 on
Yeah, so all this time you were like, "Fuck that game, $40." Now you can get it for 10.
Yeah. And it's worth it, dude. It's from Supermassive Games. It's high quality. Battlezone Gold, a popular title amongst our Discord, $9.
Yeah, dude. Actually, Battlezone is really cool, and it has that Tron feeling, kind of like you're in the tanks from Tron, right? The way it looks, it's cool.
Yeah, and this is another one that I've never played.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. I've never played multiplayer. I was gonna play multiplayer with Discord, but I got nixed out. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is another one that I'm down for. This is one that I want to play.
Yeah,
and,
dude.
I'm absolutely down to play some Battlezone.
Yeah.
Fisherman's Tale, Ruuts, one of the more popular puzzlers in VR, $7.
Every time I hear Fisherman's Tale, I think that you haven't played it, and it's a travesty. You need to get in there, Wes. It's right up your alley, and you have nothing else to play.
Well, you know what, man? After this week, after everything shakes out, and I know what headset I'm going to have at my disposal, I think it's about time we do another Because I Said So.
Yeah.
And if you want me to play Fisherman's Tale, I mean, sounds like a pretty good Because I Said So pick.
Yeah, you'll have to find a good one for me, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we'll put it up to the viewers.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Apex Construct, a solid title from our friends at Fast Travel Games. I don't know if I've ever seen it for $5 before, Ruuts.
Wow, that is cheap, and you can also get your Batman fix if you want to hear his voice. His
yeah.
father sure sounds like him, right?
He sure does, and it's pretty awesome. It's an awesome game. I like it.
Yeah.
Another underrated one, Ruuts, Torn. Another puzzle game. It has you exploring a vast estate, which is something that I've always loved doing, even before VR. $15, a more than fair price for a very good game.
Yeah. Did you buy that? I mean, did you beat that game?
No, I got, as usual, I got distracted before I beat it, but I did put some good time into it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I got so far, and then I forgot about it, and I'd have to start over. Now it's been so long.
Yeah. And last but not least, Ruuts, Stifled, another solid game from what I hear. I've never played this one, but pretty good reviews. Certainly worth the $5 they're asking for it.
That sounds familiar. Stifled. I don't know why that sounds familiar.
It's another one of those games, kind of like Blind, where you're using kind of like echolocation to make your way through maps you can't see.
There's nothing like frustration, like Blind, smacking that cane around. It was cool for a while. But
Yeah, it's another one of those type of games. Came out shortly thereafter it. So
yeah,
$5 for that.
yeah. Well,
Anyway,
Scion
sorry. Go
says
ahead.
Solus Project VR is better than Torn. I think that's what he said.
It's a completely different type of game.
Yeah, maybe I'm just bringing those two together.
Yeah. But yeah, Solus Project. A lot of people like that game. So it's more of like a planetary, an outdoors explorer type game. You
No,
know, explore the planet.
kind of like the Outer Wilds.
Yeah. So anyway, that's going to wrap us up today, Roots. What a week, man. What a week it already is, and what a week we have in store. It's going to be hard to sleep, man, especially if you're like me and you've sold everything you own so that you can afford to buy some stuff. It's going to be hard to sleep because what if you can't, right?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. For me, because I have everything. I mean, unless the Quest is limited supply, because I've decided to wait on everything else. I'm not having to like try to get my name in the hat, and that is that's the worry, right? That you're gonna not get it. So we'll just believe everybody's gonna believe that you're gonna get it, and if not, somebody in the chat will sell it to you for cheaper than you could get it retail.
Absolutely, because the
Yeah.
people in our community like to support our channel.
Yeah, see, Cyan says I'm putting words in his mouth, just like I just did to everybody on the channel.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
come on, man. Why are you doing that?
Yeah, come
Come
on.
on, man.
Yeah.
I got stuck in turn in the room with the big wood pieces you move around between the two rooms. ET2K9 now. Do you know who else loves big wood pieces?
My mom.
Oh, who doesn't love big wood pieces these days, right?
Yeah, especially her.
Yeah.
Anyway, be sure to support our channel. You know how to do it. Click the things. There's 3 of them. There's the one that looks like this. The big red one's the best one to click because it allows you to stay up with all of our content. So does that bell right next to it. So be sure to click the things. If you've been clicking those things for a while and you want to do something a little more than click, you can give us money by supporting us on Patreon, where for as little as $3 per month, you will gain access to our weekly show notes as well as the always awesome money show. In addition to that, as we mentioned before, you can join the conversation by joining our Discord. Just scroll right down to the description below and you will find an invitation for you to not only join the conversation, but for you to join our community. The best community in VR, or at least that's what I say, Roots.
I think they are as well. Best people. So for sure.
Yep. Cool dudes. Anyway, with that said, friends, good luck to you all in your conquest of this week. I'm sure I'll be talking to many of you on the Discord. So I'll keep you guys updated. You keep me updated. And with that said, friends, we'd like to thank you once again for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you tomorrow, friends. Bye bye.